So needless to say, after a disappointing Indianapolis 500, I was pretty upset with Mr. Andy Granatelli, who provided my engine and gave me the 411 on the chassis type that I should be using, a Curtis Type 2. Well, I said I was going to tell him to take the Novi and shove it where the sun don't shine. However, Granatelli made me a bit of a deal, that he would sell me one of his cars that kicked my butt in the Indianapolis 500 that also fits the Novi engine. And it's this car, the Curtis Type 1. You saw in the hands of not only Jim Hurtubise, but Bobby Unser, who drove it absolutely spectacularly all the way up through the field at the 1963 Indianapolis 500 and finished in the top of the field. Didn't quite win it, but I think Bobby Unser is going to have a pretty solid future. So we're going to drive this car, the Curtis Type 1. Now, is this car going to be any better than our current car? Well, let's find out at one of my favorite tracks in Indianapolis 500 Evolution, at least from the terms of, or in terms of my success ratio there, meaning I've won every single time I've gone to this track, the Milwaukee Mile. Alright, so qualifications are on, and the Lotuses have shown up at Milwaukee. Dan Gurney goes to 116 miles per hour. That is as fast as I've seen any AI car go at this circuit. So this is going to be a very interesting race. As you see, Eddie Sachs goes to the pole position. Johnny Boyd, wow, there is quite the spread between the field. As we got Bobby Grimm going out at 115. Carlos Daltoni is probably going to be very slow. And indeed, a 109. So here we go. I'm going out in the good old-fashioned, or the new old-fashioned, I should say, Curtis. There's only one Lotus here. Only Dan Gurney shows up. I don't see Jim Clark. So we'll have a Lotus to battle, but it'll only be one. So let's go out and see if we can knock that Lotus and Eddie Sachs off the pole. Alright, so let's take our new car out and see if we can't bring this thing onto the pole. The Curtis Type 1. We'll see if 1 is better than 2 as we head out to qualify. This engine does sound good. It always really has. And it handles awful good too. This car actually feels like it handles a little bit better than the Type 2 does. So maybe I just made the wrong chassis choice, and this car-engine combination is going to be the one to beat. We'll see. Have to downshift in the third there. Oh no, still a little bit tail-happy. So the Novi engine's still giving me a little bit of trouble getting it up to speed as we brake into turn 3 on the throttle. Wow, a lot of sliding actually. As we come down the main straightaway,
his hand is up.
115. I think Sachs was at 117, so we really got to pick up the pace here. As we slide out of turn 2 into turn 3. And still getting that slide on there. All the way out of turn 4. Wow, I almost lost it. That's going to hurt the lap.
It's the final
Only
lap.
116. We may get beat but for the pole in Milwaukee, which is really weird to say. Because this car is a little bit all over the place. We head down into turn 3 for the final time. I'm going to keep it in 4th gear this time. We'll see if I can get a little bit better grunt off the corner. I don't know if that's going to be a better lap. Yeah, it is. Just barely, though, and we didn't take the pole. And it gets worse. We're going to have a lot of work to do. In fact, we didn't even out-qualify the Lotus. We're in 8th position for this race as we take a look at the starting grid. Jones, Clark. In fact, Jim Clark did show up. Excuse me. I mistook that. So, Foyt, Branson, Gurney, Ward, and me. Wow, this is going to be one heck of a fight. We've got a lot of work to do from the middle of the grid. This will be an exciting race, so let's get to it here at Milwaukee. So I saw an interesting factoid that actually was on the menu before the race that said Jim Clark won his first U.S. race with Lotus at the 1963 Milwaukee race. So, historically, you have to kind of bet on Jim Clark as Lloyd Ruby goes down to the inside, but Clark goes way to the outside because Branson kind of forced him up there, and we're in the middle between Rathman and Ward. And very slow accelerating. I probably shouldn't have gotten up into fourth gear there. There goes Bobby Grimm trying to get to the inside. And we're sliding just a little bit off of the corner. And to the outside of Roger Ward. I'm going to try to sneak in underneath him. Instead, Grimm is all the way down to the inside. What were you thinking, man? What on earth was he doing down there? Now we got Bud Tinglestad underneath us. Well, this is going to be more exciting than generally the Milwaukee races are. We got a ton of grip in the corner, but Tinglestad was right there to block us. Well, all the way down to 12th, out of the points once again. And there's just a big group of cars up there that would be lovely to pass if we could get up to them. I think Gurney is running third in the other Lotus. No, he's running fourth. And Jim Clark is into the wall. Clark gets in to... Oh, there's a big crash there. Well, that's unfortunate for the Lotus of Jim Clark. I guess historically, history does not matter in this game. Oh, another crash. Branson just took out Roger Ward and very nearly created another big crash.
No fuel this time for car number 79.
So Branson's out of it, Clark is out of it, Roger Ward is out of it.
No fuel this time for car number 52.
Dan Gurney's still in it though. Up there in that second Lotus.
A great pit stop for car number 35. Car number 4 makes
now we've got cars coming out of the pits too, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult. That's Daltoni. As you saw him, he's just slipping and sliding all the way through the corner.
Pit stop for car number 52. No fuel this time for car number 8.
There we go, that's a little bit better. Out of turn 3 that time around. As more cars exit the pits. McElreath and Branson. Now down the back straightaway, trying to come up to the back of Bud Tinglestad here. And in fact, Jim Clark is just ahead of all this group after coming out of the pits. So they may cause a little bit of trouble. It's probably Don Branson just ahead of him as well. So lap traffic is going to come into play here. And it's not really lap traffic, it's cars that were crashed in the front of the field. And I guess we're in points positions. We could score a point from this race if it indeed goes down the way I'm expecting it to. But we're just not able to get up to the back of Tinglestad. Obviously this is a very short race, so it's going to be one of those deals where we really got to go here, and just haven't been able to go yet. So as I lift off, this car's just so temperamental with the Novi engine. There's so much power, but it just doesn't seem to want to get it down without really resisting. There we go, way wide. Try to chop it down just a little bit. Up into fourth. Try to get a good draft down there. Lift just a little bit. Now we're up. We're riding on the back of Bud Tinglestad, and we wrecked him.
Car number 54 is smoking. Car number 54 is whipping.
And Bobby Marshman's going to get around too.
Car number 54 makes a
so we wrecked a guy for no reason, just to lose that position immediately. Wow, this is just not going well. I got down on the apron there, slide it all the way out to the wall,
No fuel this time
and we
for
lost
car
more
number
time doing
54.
that. In the third gear. Come on, let's pull around him. Oh, it's just sliding so much. It's just sliding so much. Well, the Novi is okay at Indianapolis, but pretty much everywhere else, it's no bueno. Now the car's struggling because it's damaged from the contact. So just drive the car so hard through the corner there. Now Branson's coming up behind, but thankfully he's a lap down. That probably means he's still going to just drive me horribly because of all of our history previous events causing trouble. Just trying to get that rhythm going here. I think I'm pushing the throttle a little too early out of the corner too. Like, there's so much horsepower, but it's not usable horsepower. You can just see the car slide off the corner, but this time got a pretty decent run on Marshman. Might be able to battle with him here. Just gotta be so patient on throttle input. There we go. Okay, now we're starting to move up a little bit. Obviously, Grimm is quite a way up, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get up to him without a little bit of help from traffic. But at least we cleared Marshman. Now we got 4 seconds almost to make up Bobby Grimm, and now we're hearing there's a crash. And there it is. Was that a car on the lead lap?
Car number 2 is smoking.
Yes, it was. It was 2 cars on the lead lap. So we gained 2 more positions because of more shenanigans.
No fuel this time for car number 88.
Ooh. Ah, bloody
No
hell.
fuel this time for car number 2.
He's a British swear. I got up and tapped the wall. Continuing to try to overdrive the car a little too much.
A great pit stop for car number
Now we've got to try to hold Branson off here for 10 laps. Marshman's the one we really have to hold off because obviously he's for position, but if we can keep Branson behind us, he's the guy who is going to keep a lap car between us and Marshman, and that would be quite advantageous, as Parnelli Jones is now the next car directly ahead of us. Is this Parnelli who's being passed by the orange car, the orange Epperly? I don't remember who that is. It's not Marshman because he's behind us, and another orange car. So many orange cars, so little time. And a little too much throttle there, as the thing still slides. The shade comes out, and not from my sassy commentary, but the fact that this game does have shade in it. As you notice, the track colors changed a little bit. So it's weird. It's weird when the shade comes out in this game. And we're trying to get behind whoever this car is. Oh, blow. That's English. That's not English. And that's not really a good corner. So we move up to 4th gear. Well, looks like the Novi is going to cost me the streak at Milwaukee, which is pretty crazy. To go this long and not have the streak be broken, or have the streak be broken finally. It's pretty crazy. I was able to lap cars just in the last Milwaukee race. I wish Phoenix was in this game, but it's not. And yeah, Branson's just around. So maybe I should go back to the Epperly
car number
for the next race, and there's contact, more contact. And Carnelli is involved, as well as Jim Clark once again. So poor Jim Clark not having a good day, but it moves us up to 5th by just surviving this crazy race. There's so many accidents and contact, or so much accidents and contact.
No fuel this time for car number 92.
And Dan Gurney just keeps on trucking in that Lotus in 3rd place.
No fuel this time for car number 98.
As I'm just going to kind of be in salvage mode, I think, for this race, and just hope there's more contact up in the front of the field. You know, get me a podium.
Stop for car number 92.
That'd be nice. We do see crazy stuff happen in this game. I mean, the last couple times we've been coming to Milwaukee, there's been a major crash. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again. Especially with the field spread out the way it is. If a couple guys get together and they pile up, it'll be a big old wreck. So as we keep it kind of low in the corner, not really low at all. It's Alan Crow who's going the slowest right now. Shift up into 4th. Car still struggling with the damage, clipping the wall. I tried to get it through the corner properly, just couldn't quite do it. And Crow is just pulling out a little bit further. We get it down on the apron. That was not a good place to be. Now the car's really struggling since I bogged it down a bit doing that. Now here comes Bobby Marshman. I really don't want to give up 5th place if I can possibly avoid it. With 2 laps to go. But Marshman is back there. 3/10 behind. And visually much closer, it seems. Now he's trying to make a move. Oh, he's right there. Couldn't quite pull off the move though, he went to the outside. Now we're gonna go down the main straightaway, take the white flag.
It's the final lap.
And hopefully we can get to the checker. No problem. Holding ahead of Marshman as well, that's gonna be the important thing. Down the back stride of the course, I think Alan Crow is gonna screw us up here. Or he's gonna try to. Try to go around. Yes, we're going to actually get around Alan Crow this time. But it's a 5th place. We at least scored some points and got the streak. The streak has finally been broken at Milwaukee. And it was Eddie Sachs taking his 2nd victory of the season over Dick Rathman, Dan Gurney, and Bobby Grimm. So that was another crazy race. This time, finally, we have been beaten at Milwaukee. So let's go back and take a look at the points, and I'll give some final thoughts on this one. So Eddie Sachs stretches his point lead out over Dick Rathman. AJ Foyt is in 3rd. We finally scored some championship points, which puts us in 9th in the championship. Langhorne is next. And what on earth are we going to take to Langhorne? So we're back in the garage with my still disappointing Novi. But there, you may notice there's a little something else back there. What is that? What is that? I don't know. Oh yeah, it's a Lotus chassis. Now, I couldn't get a gearbox or an engine for it, despite the fact that you can see an engine poking out of it. But we can use this chassis. Unfortunately, I was only able to get the chassis if we need it. I could put an Offenhauser in the back of it. That part is available. Ford won't sell me an engine yet. I was only able to convince Colin Chapman to sell me one after just dropping backing up a dump truck full of cash to be able to convince him to sell me at least a chassis. So we do have a Lotus chassis sitting in the shop, but we're going to have to see if we're ever actually going to be able to use that. So thank you guys so much for watching. That hopefully will be an interesting teaser heading into the rest of Indianapolis 500 Evolution. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. And should I stay with the front engine cars or join the rear engine evolution? We'll see you in the next video.